Jeez. You remember that day when Magashule launched his own political party? I mean, everyone was talking about Magashule. Everyone was talking about the African Congress for Transformation. This move, this party that is supposedly the alternative from the African National Congress. People were talking about that, but it only took like what, 3 days for people to stop talking about Magashule, man. I think this guy is slowly going to realize that he is not as influential outside of ANC as he was when he was the member of the African National Congress. I think this is also one of the mistakes that a lot of politicians make, to think that I'm going to be as influential outside of the African National Congress. You see Malema, man, Malema is an exception. Not everyone is like Julius Malema, and not every politician who lives in the African National Congress is going to end up like Julius Malema. Julius Malema, man, is an exception. All these people need to understand that. He's an exception. He was he was hot when he was still the ANC Youth League president. He was still hot back then. People like Magashule, man, have been the part of the executive. People like Magashule has been the system of the African National Congress. So for him to go out with his new political party to say that now I offer an alternative to the African National Congress, I have a new party that is going to bring you all these things that the African National Congress has promised you, man, I don't think that is going to work very well for him. Man, the man should have went and joined the EFF. He should have went and joined the EFF. The EFF is doing the same thing with Magashule. They are promising people the same things that African National Congress promised the people. The EFF and the African Congress for Transformation, man, they don't have to think about policies. You just have to steal the ANC policies that they promised the people. You know those policies are popular amongst the people. So even if I were to start a political party today, I would promise people the things that were promised by the African National Congress. Do the same things with the EFF and the ANC, man. You know those guys are lazy. You don't want to make up your own you don't want to make your own policies. So you're just gonna have to steal people's policies and say, no, these are not the ANC policies. These are the policies of black people. This is what the EFF goes around saying to people. These are not the policies of the EFF. These are the policies of black people. Well, duh. So guys, recently Magashule, man, Magashule has been on the news, not for so good things on the news, because Magashule has been facing some rape allegations that were brought to him. So there's been a debate online. You know how politics is. It is so sad that in this country, man, we live in a country where women and children are constantly targeted and constantly abused, constantly raped. You would think that when stories like this break out, people would actually sit back and be like, okay, let's let the law take its course. Instead of simply saying that, oh, they want to take Magashule out. People simply want to play politics. You know that these rape allegations have been brought against Magashule. Instead of people saying, okay, guys, we live in a very corrupt and in a very unsafe place in South Africa. And most of these guys, so Magashule, when he's being accused of something like this, it is not shocking to a lot of people because a lot of politicians have been accused of all sorts of things. So it is not shocking that a politician would be accused of something like this. But I am shocked by people's reaction towards these allegations that have been brought forward against Magashule. People are immediately saying that no, Magashule did not do that. Magashule, they tried to take out Magashule. Magashule is a threat to the African National Congress. People are saying that. People are saying they want to take Magashule out because Magashule is going to take the votes from the African National Congress. Man, we live in a country where women are constantly targeted. Women are being raped. Women are being killed. Young children are being abducted in this country. So why don't we just say, okay, Magashule, you have these terrible allegations that have been leveled against you. Instead of simply defending you as if we were there, why don't we just say, let the law take its course? I don't know why South Africans are like this, man. You know, when it comes to defending politicians in South Africa, man, this whole thing is pretty disgusting. That South Africans, man, will defend the politicians even in the matters that are sensitive. A rape is a very sensitive matter. So for people to simply go out and defend Magashule, or simply go out and say Magashule must go to jail because they hate Magashule politically, guys, this is not how we should do things, man. We should be sensitive to this stuff. You cannot be here advocating for Magashule, saying that they are targeting Magashule because Magashule he is a threat for them going into 2024. Even with the people who are saying that Magashule is innocent, man, You were not there. Why don't we just let the law take its course? Man, South Africans, man, have developed this nasty behavior of defending politicians constantly. They don't care. You remember the same thing with Jacob Zuma and Kwezi. This is the same thing that was happening back then. You had people saying that Jacob Zuma must go to jail because Jacob Zuma did it. Why? Because those people hated Jacob Zuma politically. You had people, again, who loved Jacob Zuma and said that Jacob Zuma is innocent. There is no way Jacob Zuma can do this. But guys, at the end of the day, the problem is not being solved. And we, the people, are not making it easy for these kind of problems to be solved. Because whenever politicians are accused of something like this, we hardly hear of any conclusions because we have already made up our own conclusions. People really need to start learning to sit back when it comes to these sensitive matters. We need to start sitting back when it comes to these sensitive matters. We cannot continue defending politicians or wanting the worst for politicians because we hate people politically or because we love people politically. Guys, as people, we need to stop this. We must let the law take its course. Honestly, let's let the law take its course, guys. It's a small thing. We cannot defend. You cannot defend or advocate for some people to go to jail. You cannot advocate for Ace Magashule to go to jail because you hate him politically. You cannot defend Ace Magashule because you love him politically. Guys, we hardly hear of any conclusions when it comes to these matters. And it is a very sensitive matter. It is a very serious matter because the women in this country especially, are being targeted. Man, you listen to the statistics, they will tell you that I think almost every hour or almost every 30 minutes, something bad happens to a woman or a child in this country. So when we have people saying that a politician has done this to me, we are not saying, no, we are shutting you down and we don't want to hear anything for you. The best thing that we could do is saying, guys, let's let the law take its course. It's unfortunate that in South Africa, when you are accused of something like this, it's unfortunate that we have a broken South African police service. These people cannot deal with these kind of matters. This is why every time when people are being raped, every time when people are being sexually harassed, it is hard for us to get to any conclusion because the South African police service, they don't have the capacity to deal with these kind of matters. Why? Into 30 years into democracy, guys, 30 years into democracy, we have a South African police service institution that still cannot deal with the matters of sexual harassment. People today are walking the streets. You know, we have rapists that are walking around the streets because the system failed to prove that these people are rapists. We have innocent people sitting in jail today because the state cannot determine that these people are innocent. This is the kind of a country we live in.
We start with politics. President of the ACT party, Ace Magashule, is campaigning in Everton today. Of course, you'll remember he was the Secretary General of the ANC. SABC News reporter Samkele Maseko is on that story and joins us live. Good afternoon, Samkele. What sort of reception is Ace Magashule receiving?
Well, indeed, Francis, Ace Magashule, the former Secretary General of the ANC and now President of the African Congress for Transformation, is campaigning here in the Vaal. It comes at a time where there have been many allegations and many people wondering, where is Mr. Ace Magashule? He is joining us now. Mr. Magashule, where have you been and what have you been up to?
Magashule is here. I'm on the ground. I don't work because of the media. You know, I've always said I'm not a product of the media. I'm the product of our people. We have been working throughout the country. You will see us. We are working hard, corner by corner, street by street, village.
And guys, how do you think African Congress for Transformation is going to do in 2024? Do you think there's a slight chance of Ace Magashule going to Parliament in 2024? You know, with the South African voters, man, you can never trust these people. South African voters are special. You cannot trust these people. Do you think that there's any chance of Ace Magashule going into Parliament in 2024? I said that in South Africa everything is possible. I remember I was answering some lady earlier while I was doing a live stream. She said that, do you think that there's a chance of Chris Pappas becoming the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal? I said everything is possible in South Africa. There's a chance that we might have Gayton McKenzie as the president of this country in 2024. Everything is possible in South Africa, man. We are alive with possibilities. This is a kind of a country we are. We are alive with possibilities. The worst thing that you think could happen, man, it can easily happen in South Africa. Your wildest nightmare or your wildest imagination, it can happen in South Africa. It can. It can.
Village by village, town by town, we are all over South Africa. And here we are today because we are invited by comrades of the ANC who said they want to come and join ACT. And they initiated it, and it is their initiative. And we said, no, that's okay. We also have a lot of comrades here who comes from Action SA. A lot of them, especially around Gauteng. We are happy. So I'm here, I'm alive, kicking, still jumping like a tennis ball. Very confident.
Mr. Magashule, this is your first public appearance. Me and you we didn't get each other on the phone. I sent you a text yesterday. You know the allegations that have been surrounding former Premier League leaders, in particular one. Is those allegations of rape against you, has a case of rape been opened against you in Mondiu?
Well, let me not get into that. I don't.
Hi guys, but don't you just love how Samkelo Maseko is so straight up with politicians? Man, you know Samkelo Maseko is really special. Guys, you need to protect Samkelo Maseko with everything that you have. This guy is a straight shooter, man. Samkelo Maseko is one of those journalists in South Africa that you enjoy watching. You enjoy watching his interviews. You know that Samkelo Maseko, he doesn't care about being politically correct. He will ask the questions that people want him to ask. Samkelo Maseko always asks the questions that people want him to ask. He speaks on people's behalf. This is the kind of a journalist that speaks on people's behalf. Shout out to Samkelo Maseko, man, and shout out to the SABC, man. I thought by now the SABC would have fired Maseko after he embarrassed that ANC spokesperson yesterday. You remember how Samkelo Maseko dealt with that ANC spokesperson when they were talking about that contract that ANC is failing to pay on. I thought by now SABC would have fired Samkelo Maseko, but it looks like Samkelo Maseko is not going anywhere.
Against you in Mondiu?
Well, let me not get into that. I don't know anything. I'm clear. I'm clear. I will never do such things. I've always been there. I'm against the GBV. I'm against the abuse of women and all that. So I'm sure it's time. Things are happening, and I'm sure more will happen. Let's look forward and let's work hard. I just want to assure South Africans, sorry, I'm here, alive, on the ground, working hard, and I wish that God gives them power to understand that ACT, African Congress for Transformation, must change South Africa. It is time for us to, and we'll definitely, you'll see as time moves on. People said there will be no load shedding in December. I'm sure around March, April, there will be no load shedding, so that people vote. After voting, there will be load shedding. So
exactly, man, exactly. I fully agree with him on that. This is exactly why I say politicians or political parties must not campaign on load shedding, because if they think that load shedding is something to campaign on, then they are sadly mistaken, because you know South Africans have a short memory. South Africans have a short memory, man. If the ANC gets load shedding under control for like 2-3 months before the elections, South Africans would have forgotten that for the past 5 years they've been living with load shedding. They simply need to get load shedding under control before the elections. Then all these political parties are now irrelevant, because the only thing they are talking about right now is load shedding. I don't agree with Fikile Mbalula on most of the things that he talks about, but this is the only thing that opposition parties are proposing to South Africans. Load shedding, load shedding, load shedding. They are complaining about load shedding left, right and center. So if the ANC gets rid of load shedding for like 2 or 3 months before the elections, what is it that these opposition parties are going to talk about? There is nothing to talk about from these opposition parties. Their only ammunition is load shedding. It is their only ammunition. And man, ANC is about to pull a big one on them on this load shedding stuff. Service delivery, ANC doesn't care about service delivery. The people of this country, they don't care about service delivery. They don't care that the ANC never delivers on any of their promises. They don't care about that. They don't care about load shedding. Now they are telling you that they have their own favorite schedules. You hear people saying that I like it when electricity goes off maybe at 12 to 2. I like it when it goes off from 2 to 4. Man, I don't like it when electricity goes off from 8 because it's still early. People now have their favorite load shedding schedules. So if you think that people are going to vote against the African National Congress because of load shedding, then man, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about.
We are sure working with other parties like EFF, ATM, and other parties who are there for our black Africans, black coloreds, black Indians, as well as white Democrats. We will be there and we want to work together. We are, and I'm going to talk to all smaller parties, whether they are small or big, but what matters is our communities. This is not another organization of people who decides, and that's why we have not decided leadership. You can see that all these people here are Amadela Gufa. They are prepared to die for the sake of our people.
But
Magashule is not answering the question, man. He's not answering the question.
Watch the space.
Not to deviate on the topic that I had raised with you.
No, let's not talk about that. Today we are here. ANC members have said, and I've said to them, please don't ban the t-shirts of the ANC. I still respect that organization of Oliver Tambo and Nelson Mandela.
But are you aware of this? Are you aware of this matter that has been opened at Mondio Police Station?
It's all over the media. So maybe you are aware. How can I be aware if I have not been approached? But whatever happens, I can tell you, I'm confident there is nothing like that.
Did you ever do something of that nature?
Never. Never.
Then where do these allegations come from?
No, Somgelo. Today is Amadela Gofa. We are recruiting and campaigning, and we are giving our people hope. Those who are hopeless, those who have no food, those who are jobless. The VAL here, we came here because Isil Matal, ISCO, is going to retrench people. The VAL people, you can see all over Everton, you can go to Zumbuke, Sharkville, Bopilo. It's the VAL I know. This is where I studied my metric. This is where I taught as a teacher. Same VAL. Act is coming to change the lives of our people. Thank you very much.
Mavuso Msemang has left the ANC. Just a response of
I don't want to talk about Mavuso. I've already made a video about Mavuso. Magashule doesn't want to address this whole thing of the rape allegations that have been leveled against him. But I think he's missing a huge opportunity, because if he really believes that he's innocent, if he thinks that I'm innocent, I didn't do something like this, I will never do something like this, he should have taken the advantage to say that, guys, the fact that we have a South African police service that fails to deal with these kind of matters, it is a travesty and it is shameful to our country that we have people who still haven't found justice today because of the South African police service, because these people don't have any capacity on dealing with any of these kind of matters. I know that I've been accused of this kind of a matter, and the fact that this matter will not be thoroughly investigated, or we will never get to its conclusion, it is a travesty in South Africa, because a lot of people have been sexually harassed. A lot of people have been raped in South Africa. The fact that today we have thousands on top of thousands of cases that have never been resolved because South African police service is incompetent, man, it is shameful to South Africa. I also feel like Magashule should have took the time to address the fact that we don't have institutions to deal with this kind of issues, because these are the issues that are affecting South Africans on a day-to-day basis. Guys, I don't know, man. Please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.